Welcome to the Sooner Surge, a podcast from SurgeSportsNetwork.com. Here is the entire Sooner Surge team. Brody, Hunter, Jason, Jackson, Jeremy, and Traber.
He tells it like it is, and I'm going to tell you like it is right now. What's up, Sooner fans? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge, our post-spring game edition on a Monday. All of us are back from Norman, Oklahoma on a really cold and chilly day there, but we got a lot to talk about. So let's get started, guys.
Yeah, well, give me your thoughts, man.
Yeah, really disappointing we left a little early because it was very cold, and we thought it was the end of the day for Jackson Arnold, Dylan Gabriel, and all the starters, ones and twos, and we saw Davis Beevil trot out there, and then we saw Booty get some action. So we left, miss epic game-tying drive from Jackson Arnold, and the defense comes out with the win after a drop pass on the two-point conversion.
Yeah. Well,
we want to make the jokes about Bevel, but he actually had a pretty solid spring game.
Yeah.
I was kind of surprised. But the drop pass, I mean, that feels like it's been kind of a big story for Jaden Gibson with the drops, but, got to get that cleaned up. But overall, I thought it was a solid spring game with the whole Kyler stuff. Thought that was cool. BV talked. I think me and Hunter, or all of us, when BV started talking, we were like over under 7 minutes because the timer had, I think it was 7 or 12.
Yeah,
it might have been
7 on the clock. 7 on
the clock, and BV went way over.
Yeah, I videoed the whole thing. It was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
I got great commentary, by the way, from Jason. Jason making some idiotic comments. Him and Jeremy going back. And
what did I say?
Jeremy pointed out that he didn't reference Moser, and then Jason, I don't even remember what you were saying, but I'm just like, I didn't want to say anything because people can hear me in the video.
Well, it was kind of funny that he didn't mention the boys basketball team, but
He mentioned the teams that were doing really good right now.
Hey,
I mean,
you know what the best part of that whole thing was?
when he called out
Yeah.
Lincoln
He
Riley,
said-
basically.
Hey, Oklahoma State fans are confused. They think it's about them.
I don't understand that. I saw that on Twitter this week, and I'm like, why are they thinking OU's talking about them? OU doesn't
Exactly.
care.
Like,
Yeah.
it was directly at USC. It was obvious from the moment he said it.
Well, and for anyone that didn't hear exactly what BV said, he said, for those naysayers who say that spring game attendance doesn't matter, it's because they have a program that doesn't.
Yeah, that's pretty – coming from BV, it was a little shocking. That doesn't usually fit his MO. Maybe taking
I don't know
shots
about
at others.
that. Do you not remember the days as a defensive coordinator?
What days, Jay?
When he was at OU, he said plenty of stuff that was –
I'm talking about how he against other programs, though. That doesn't really fit his MO, I'm saying. Hey, I thought it was very interesting that they're almost able to sack Davis Bevel often. Anyone else, Arnold goes for a 55-yard scamper. And by the way, guys, for people who say, it doesn't mean anything, yeah, he was leaving people, okay? He knows how to run the zone read. He was leaving people, but someone touched him, so it got called back. Dude, they almost ripped Bevel's helmet off.
Yeah.
The whistle wasn't blowing.
If that was any other quarterback, they would probably still be running gassers right now for
also, to be fair, we saw what happened to Jackson Arnold whenever he had to go with the second string offensive line. And not that Davis Bevel could have done any better with the first team O-line, but the second and third team's offensive line for what they had were not very impressive. And also, I think the largest takeaway from this game is that Peyton Bowen, oh my gosh, he's the second best safety on this team right now. And he's a true freshman, and he's only practiced for like 7 or 8 times.
Yeah, he was at his prom a week ago.
The few things I took away from this is it's my first spring game in 3 years, okay? But I have not been to a spring game since, as far as seeing 5-star defensive talent since.
Jay, you've never been to a spring game back then. You
probably 2010, Gerald, or 2008 or 9, around those years.
Went
they had
to a spring game those years?
Yeah. They had 5-star defensive talent there, and it makes a difference. PJ Adebawore he's going to be unreal. He's going to be
and
unreal.
We saw him when he was going in the stadium. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen it on Twitter, but Traber, he got a picture with Arnold and Bowen. But then when you see PJ, I think they changed the pronunciation. It's Adebayor or
I
something.
still can't get it right. I need to replay that 10-second clip from Toby 1,000 times.
I think it's Adebayor.
Adebayor.
That's it.
I think
Adebayor.
it's something like that. But PJ, I mean, the dude, you look at him just rolling up. He was rolling up on a scooter. That dude has the NFL body, and he's a freshman who's only been there for what? A couple months already.
You can't hear him.
Jeremy, we can't hear
He
you.
does it every time he mutes himself.
Jeremy, we can't hear you.
No,
we can't hear you.
he does this every time, viewers. Sorry about that. It's literally every time.
Speaking, we talked about PJ has that size. Another guy that when you look at him, you're like, wow, that's Deshaun McCullough. When you see it on TV, it's like, okay, but when you're sitting there and he's out there, that dude is,
standing next to him. He's
Well, also, as you guys know, that I actually got a photo with Deshaun McCullough, and I came back. I don't remember which one of you guys. It may have been Hunter that I said, "Holy crap, that dude's huge!"
Yeah,
just the size now that this team has really that Brent Venables has brought in, like Justin Harrington, Deshaun McCullough, PJ Adebayor, Derek.
He
LeBlanc,
almost
huge. It's SEC type defensive players that they're bringing in.
Well, McCullough almost looked like a power forward in basketball.
Yeah.
He's a big dude, and
which is crazy. He's only 6'5", so he's.
I know.
It's part of being
smart. Another guy that I think from last year looked different to me, R. Mason Thomas.
Yeah,
bigger.
He looks bigger,
a lot bigger upper body, even thicker. Legs. I think he made an impact when he was in there.
Yeah,
but you look at the defensive line in general, the front seven. I know it's a spring game. I get it, but
baby went off. Grayson Halton had a great spring game. And you look between him, Trace Ford, Bothroyd. You got Coe. Stripling had a good spring. The front seven to me looks like it's going to be so much more improved.
Yeah, and it's almost difficult to take stuff away from the front seven in a sense because they're playing against that makeshift offensive line. But R. Mason Thomas does look bigger. I think when you have R. Mason on one end and PJ on the other, that's going to be crazy. And then Bothroyd, you look at him and you're almost not like, okay, is that our best defensive end? But you watch him play and he definitely is that. But yeah, Jeremy, did you have something you were going to say before?
Yeah, I was. Someone phone call came in, and every time it does that.
Do not disturb. There's a button on your phone.
I couldn't find it. I looked. Hey, actually, Bothroyd looks the part, buddy. His size is. What I was saying about PJ is his body. He could put on a lot more weight. His frame can handle it. He's not at a point where he's not going to be able to add more weight. He's going to add more weight and even his physique's going to get better. But obviously the guys that stood out physically, was McCullough for sure. His physicality, his body stood out. But I have to ask Jackson, you said Bowen's obviously the second best safety. I'm assuming you're saying behind Bowman.
Yeah, behind Bowman.
What I can, and Key Lawrence got the start, but listen, what I could see happening this year is Pearson playing a lot on run downs and Bowen playing on pass heavy downs.
Yeah.
It's something I can really see happening.
I was very impressed with Pearson, guys.
Especially on the run game.
Well, an experienced safety who can make a difference right away. He's that guy.
To me, he's kind of the guy that Key Lawrence is supposed to be. The guy that can come down, make the run fits, and is a great tackler.
And Key Lawrence may lose time, guys. He's the guy that's going to be left out, I'm afraid.
I think he'll play a lot, but he's just got to be more consistent. That's been the story with him for a long time.
We also have Robert Spears-Jennings.
Robert Spears-Jennings is going to come back. He'll make an impact. I promise you that. But, with Pearson.
Let me ask you guys this. Do you think they're going to, when they get in the meat of their season, is this something that can you see Venables maybe – just rotating through a lot of guys consistently?
Yeah,
or do you think he's going to stick with his dogs?
No, I think he's going to. He wanted to play more rotation last year, remember? And here's what I can
have the depth last year to do.
Yeah, what I can see happening is they got some interchangeable parts for different, formations and stuff, because you got a guy like McCullough who they played him a little bit with Harrington the other day.
Because they put Harrington at safety.
Yeah, they got so much, you could have McCullough off the edge as a rusher. But back to PJ Adebawore real quick. To me, he is going to be the highest drafted defensive end ever to come out of OU.
I think he might go number 1.
I mean, he's going to be that good, guys.
I saw that Will Anderson comp today.
He's going to be that good. There's no doubt about it.
Well,
who was he bull rushing?
It was
I think Caden Green was one of them.
Just mauled over.
It was Caden Green and Savion Byrd.
Yeah, it was a double team, and he went right. I mean, if he was able to actually hit the quarterback, he was going to get there 100%. It was a double team. He busted through it. That really impressed me. And TJ, his brother's going to be a first-round pick on Thursday. Before the combine, his brother was like, it was almost like he's PJ's brother because PJ was such a highly touted recruit. So PJ's potential is just through the roof.
Yeah, sure.
Jackson, what are you going to say?
Well, I was going to say, it's just like you guys talked about his frame. I think by next year around this time, we'll be talking about him. He'll be up to 260, 265. And, I mean, obviously he'll weigh 30 pounds more of all muscle most likely. But the dude will look nearly the same just due to his frame. Like, who is there even any NFL defensive lineman comp for him with just his length?
He reminds me a lot of Thibodeau.
At OU?
Kayvon Thibodeau from
Oregon.
From Oregon?
With the Giants.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of thinking Kersey. Javon Curse?
I don't think he's as thick as him, but
not yet, but he's an 18-year-old kid.
Yeah,
he's going to be there. Hey, what y'all think?
I'm not even sure if he's 18 yet.
What y'all think about the Josiah Wagner getting a start?
And that's what I was getting ready to get to. We're talking about Peyton Bowen and PJ Adebawore. They're both 5 stars, but the starting person on the defense was Josiah Wagner. I mean, I think it'll be him or Gentry Williams for that starting corner spot. And he played pretty well. I was honestly pretty impressed with what Wagner did. I think him and Woody is a pretty good combo. And, I was impressed. With Kendall Dolby, not the same. I wasn't really too impressed with what he did. But Josiah Wagner, certainly I liked what I saw.
That's sure. And I've been as high on Wagner as anyone, and you guys know this. I've said it. I think I've been saying my next jersey is going to be Josiah Wagner. I think that dude just brings it. It's like Jay Valai, he's called him a pit bull, has that mentality. And if you can have, if your 4 corners next year are Dolby, Washington, Wagner, and Gentry Williams, and you feel confident about all 4 of them, there's no reason why they can't all be super great and productive.
Here's the deal, guys. We've had some decent corners in years past that have made the NFL, but the problem is if you don't have a pass rush, I don't care who you are, you're not covering these receivers.
Well,
okay? That to me
you're
is
right.
The problem at OU is they haven't had the rush. And you have a guy one-on-one sometimes against a really good receiver. It's just too hard to cover that long. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times they would have good coverage and they couldn't make a play, which is what we saw from Peyton Bowen is he made a play on the ball. Great play.
The Bowen one wasn't even a bad throw by DG.
It was underthrown.
It was a little underthrown.
I don't know.
A little, but not much.
Perfect technique.
No one's going to go over Bowen and get a ball. Okay, he's going to be in the position. He's actually going to make the plays. But Jay, you bring up a great point with the pass rush, and I was just sitting here thinking with Venable's aggressive coaching style, you got Pearson, right? I mean, Pearson can have a safety blitz. I mean, that guy blitzing. There's so many guys right now that you say, wow, if you blitz this dude, they're going to get to the quarterback. And then you got Bothroyd on the end it's not like we're not wondering if he can get a pass rush. He's played in a Power 5 conference and easily got a pass rush and got sacks. So he's a proven commodity. Grayson Halton, I think, is going to be good this year in the middle. And then Jordan Kelly had a pretty good spring game, but there's, we haven't mentioned some guys, but I think the ability to get to the quarterback is going to be much more noticeable. And the Stripling thing is interesting to me because I know we had heard maybe that, where's he going to fit? And he comes out there and he's the starter. I was a little shocked by that.
He didn't start. That was the second that went out there. But you did mention it. You said guys getting the quarterback. First team defense's first play, they blitz Justin Harrington and he bats down the ball. he's the type of guy that you can blitz to, and he can get to the quarterback.
Yeah. And speaking of getting to the quarterback, you talk about the defensive line that's had a great game, but the guy that had the most impressive game was Kip Lewis. That dude was all over the field, and he's only at 203 pounds right now. But if he can find a way to get up to 215 to 220, I wouldn't be shocked if he sees some snaps this year.
Oh,
the overall linebacker in general is, to me, so much better than last year. I know we haven't seen any games. And I'm not talking about whether or not, as far as reading defenses, it's just their athletic ability and their, just their talent. To me, is so much better.
And you got to feel good about it with Stutzman and Kanik as your starters, and then you have McKenzie and Lewis, and then BV press conference. I mean, he's raving about Lewis Carter, who's not even on campus. So they're just adding even more just depth to that linebacker room, and maybe they put Deshaun McCullough at linebacker a little bit too. I mean, there's just multiple options with this team, and got to feel good about especially like Kip Lewis. I mean, he was everywhere on the field.
How cool was it to Stutzman to get his name on the pregame video?
That was an interesting one. I did not expect to hear.
I was shocked.
Pause and then stuff.
They listed. Yeah, that was awesome.
Man,
Someone put on an article. Someone talked about maybe the clear-cut leader on this team is Stutzman, but I mean, outside of him on the defense, he's definitely the vocal leader, right? The most vocal guy. And if you look at everyone he's playing outside of guys like Kelly and Coey, he's really the most experienced guy on that defense. I mean, Key Lawrence has been there. Woody Washington, I think, is going to be a leader. Woody Washington is going to be a leader.
Harrington's a leader from everything that BV, McCullough, all of them, they've all said Justin Harrington is the leader on the defense. They've said Key Lawrence has stepped up and been a more vocal voice this year.
Yeah. Well, also a guy that led a lot over these last 2 years is a guy that's actually transferring out in Jaden Davis. And Jaden Rowe talked about that, how they're really going to miss Jaden Davis because of the leadership skills he brought. But now it's time for someone else to step up, just like Brent Venables has talked about. You've got to build the culture. Every year you have to start over. You have that foundation, but you have to build up on it. This year in the summer, who's going to step up? Who's going to be that leader? And we've even heard that PJ Adebora, however you say it now, the new pronunciation, that kid, we've heard he's done it. He's been committed, and I've heard he's been one of the leaders in the defensive line room, and he's only a true freshman.
Hey. When I was coaching, I've coached for a few years on different sports, but when your best player is your best leader, that's where you want to be. And I'm not taking a shot, Jackson, at your guy. But when Justin Broyles is the best leader, but maybe he's not the best player, it does make a difference. And I think having guys who are leading and dominant on the field, it's going to speak volumes moving forward.
Hey, let's switch over to offense.
I was just about to bring that up.
Because let's talk about the quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Dylan Gabriel and Jackson Arnold. Hunter, start with you. Thoughts?
We thought Dylan Gabriel improved. He's still going to be the starter. That's not a question. Dylan Gabriel will be starting game one with how the spring went, but it was still the same Dylan Gabriel. He's still the guy that he's not going to win you a game. Not saying he's going to necessarily lose you the game either, but we saw it last year 5 times. We lost by 1 possession. All 5 times it was because Dylan Gabriel could not go out and win the game. Jackson Arnold, when he's with the ones, looks great. He looked great. Jackson, what do you disagree about that? That's not wrong.
Oh, you just said that all 5 or 4 of the one-score losses last year were on Dylan Gabriel. I'm not even going to talk about that.
I said he couldn't win us the game.
Well, unfortunately, there was three games in which there was a majority of passes that were dropped for touchdowns.
We don't need that rehash last year, but
we don't need
defense,
guys.
But it is correct what he's saying. You would think some of those plays Saturday, guys, you've got to make. I mean, you got to throw better balls than he was throwing.
I thought DG did look a little bit better in the run, and he looked faster. That's
running. He looked a lot better.
He's never had any issue running the ball. He just didn't last year after the concussions.
But honestly, I thought DG was solid. He didn't have a great first quarter. Second quarter, he comes back and throws 3 touchdowns. He's 11 for 17 for, I think like 100 and something yards or something like that. But he was solid.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jay.
Here's the deal. Dylan Gabriel, we know what he is, okay? We know it. I mean, just look at his career stats. It's very similar every year. We know what you're going to get from him. But with Arnold there, here's the difference. If he makes these deep balls, and we've seen guys wide open under Levy's offense going deep. Last year we saw drops from him, but we also saw wide open in him trying to make a perfect pass and overthrowing it instead of just getting it to him. Okay? We have a guy that just transferred over that runs faster than Tyreek Hill, pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay?
We'll get to that.
Either Dylan Gabriel's got to – you're not going to overthrow him. So it's underthrow him either. So what you can't have happen are these guys that are running wide open, you can't miss on them. Or running across the middle and you throw it high. You can't have that. You at least get it in the ballpark.
Hey, it's the same. And when I say same issue, when Levy calls a play and Dylan Gabriel knows to pump fake and then he's got a guy in the corner wide open, he never has missed those really. The problem is when he scrambles out and he had Jaden Gibson and he underthrows it. It's the decision making when he's forced out, when the thing that's supposed to happen isn't there. That's when he struggled, and that's my only concern. And guys, you do not win championships. You do not win championships if the quarterback can't make those plays, because there's games when you are pushed out of the pocket and you got to create on your own. And frankly, that's when he struggles. Okay, that's all I would say to that. But Traver, I know you were going to say something.
So one of the bright sides I thought was on the offense, where Gavin Freeman, he's had a great spring game. With his route running was great, his hands were great. I feel like Gavin Freeman, he would be just one of those great safety valves for the offense.
That's a great point, because they were always throwing to him when things would collapse. They'd look for Gavin Freeman. I mean, 3 receptions, 7 yards, and a touchdown. It was definitely a really good game from Freeman.
Yeah.
Jackson.
I was going to say, I actually had him as my spring game MVP, Brody, on the offensive side of the ball. But, yeah, it was just Dylan Gabriel, man. It's the same issues. Whether it was the underthrow or the overthrow to Bunkley Shelton in the second row in the end zone. Mola was there, but he's got to try and put a little more touch on that. He just, rocketed in there. It's like there was no simple touch or anything.
Stogner's another guy that's going to be a safety valve. Stogner's going to be a great safety valve for Gabriel.
Yeah, we saw it last year with Braden Willis. Yeah, tight end was Dylan's go-to guy pretty much. I think for a good chunk of the season, Braden Willis had the most receptions on the team. It kind of died down at some point, and you can expect a veteran like Stogner to have that same impact.
Guys, I mean, talking about the receivers, the leading receiver in the spring game was DJ Graham. He only caught 2 balls.
He made 2 really good plays.
The 2 really good plays. It was an underthrown ball by Bevel. It got there, but he showed good ball skills, and he went and got the ball. And then the one, I mean, granted, the spin move he did
after the catch it
was a great spin move. I don't know the name of the corner he did on, but I mean, he hit him with a nice little spin move, and I wish he would have scored on it. But I mean, if he's the type of guy, the way I see it with the receivers is you got Jalil Farouk, Drake Stoops, Andrew Anthony, who we didn't see too much. I mean, he didn't do too much. LV Bunkley Shelton, he was open a couple times. He seems like he can run. He'll be a solid receiver. And then Gavin Freeman. And then possibly, Nick Anderson or DJ Graham. DJ Graham obviously probably still has a little bit ways to go. And then Nick Anderson didn't play in the spring game because of a hammy. So it just seems like, especially with Anderson, it's just been one issue after another.
And what about the guys coming in, Brody?
There's another one.
There's another one too.
Committed. Transfer from Texas. This kid is going to be special. I saw a tweet. I think it was it John Hoover who said that for reference, his
Parker Thune.
Okay, Parker Thune. Yeah, Parker Thune retweeted something. For reference, Thompson's personal 100-meter record is 10.18. That is faster than Tyreek Hill.
That's going to play. Jeremy has a track.
Sawchuck's PR is 10.62 100-meter.
Yeah, Jeremy, how fast is 10.18?
I think 10.5 won the state meet last year. But, hey, it doesn't matter. You don't need a reference. You already got one. Tyreek Hill. Do we need to say anything else? There's your reference. Guys, I'm the one that said
I'm
there's
not
no
gonna
way he's going to see the
compare
field.
Harvey
I've been
Phillips.
saying there's no way he's going to see the field, but I guess there's no way he can't see the field if you're that fast.
Kick return.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to
I
be.
am-
A reverse.
Reverse, yeah. I mean,
Hey, instead of using Drake Susan jet sweeps, you can use him.
Guys, listen. We all know Levy's offense last year. He likes to get matchups, right? There is no way if you put him on the field and just say run a fly route, they're going to have to put a safety back. There's nobody that's going to cover
the
him
problem
deep.
is, the
Period.
problem with that is, can DG get it there?
You might have to put Arnold in on that series.
No,
Hey,
but he brings up a good
brings a
point.
question.
No,
Hey,
I would actually think that.
which brings up a question, guys. And I'm going to say it right now on April 24th. I said it. I think there's zero, and Jackson, uncover your eyes for this, okay? There's zero chance that they don't have a package for Jackson Arnold where he can run the ball or something.
I agree. He'll play in every game, and I think each game they'll give him a little bit more. You can't just have the dude in a situation where, say, Dylan Gabriel goes down. Now Jackson Arnold's playing in the Red River rivalry with no experience.
Hey,
they're going to get him into the game, and it's going to
listen.
be in meaningful situations.
And you're right, probably a little bit about that because just go look at the history of Dylan Gabriel's career. Has he made it through a season without an injury?
No.
Maybe one.
I'm just thinking the Belldozer with
I'm not
Jackson
losing.
Arnold who can throw the ball.
Yeah, we did the same thing with Chandler Morris in 2020 with Rattler. We had that package for Morris.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people compare this to Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler, but this is a completely different situation because of the truth of the matter is Dylan Gabriel this past season was a better QB than Spencer Rattler was either of his 2 years at OU.
I don't agree with that.
I don't know about that.
I'm under,
Say that again, Jackson.
what?
Say that again.
A lot of people compare this to the Caleb Williams and Spencer Rattler situation, right? We've heard that where Jackson Arnold will come in and overtake as a starter as a true freshman. But the fact of the matter is that Dylan Gabriel was a better QB than Spencer Rattler was either of his 2 years. That he's
One went 6-5, one won a Big 12 championship.
Well, the end of that year, Rattler was pretty hot. I remember it going to the Big 12
That's why he was the favorite for the Heisman the next year. But his ball coach left him.
Stats speak for itself. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, please. Okay, they speak for themselves, Jackson. Stats do.
Well, also, guess what? Spencer Rattler's freshman year, they had the number 28th ranked defense in the country. Give that to Dylan Gabriel. This team's in the Big 12 championship last year.
Yeah, Hunter and Jeremy, are you thinking can OU win the Big 12 championship with Dylan Gabriel this year?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
they can this year.
They can.
And
The
honestly,
Big 12's not very good.
I'm looking at the schedule right in front of me. If they don't, that's honestly a disappointment. If they're not even at least there. You have
Agreed.
6 non-conference games this year. That's 6 guaranteed wins.
Guaranteed the Wild.
It has
Tell me
to.
who the best defense Dylan Gabriel's going to
Arkansas
face.
State, you're playing SMU, you're playing Tulsa, you're playing Cincinnati, you're playing UCF, you're playing Kansas. Like,
Tell me a top defense here,
Oklahoma
guys.
State with Allen Bowman, let's be honest.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a low team.
Tell me a good defense in the league.
Texas, TCU.
K-State and TCU are the only two I can think of.
Texas was
Texas
good
is
last
have a
year.
really good. They're going to be top
But
20.
they lost Gary Patterson, so
Right,
that might
exactly.
change
He
something.
didn't call their defense.
Hey, let's talk about the
He
running.
called more than you
Yes, he
think.
did.
Hey,
Yes.
Mr.
let's talk about the
Holland
running
has called a lot of it.
Hey, let's move on to the running backs for a bit. So obviously Barnes didn't play. Sawchuk got a little bit of
They
time.
didn't want to play too much.
Smothers and Hicks played a little bit. I do think one of those guys will redshirt between Smothers and Hicks. I don't know which one, but I think one of them.
Both may.
I don't know if they can afford
They don't
both
have
of
the
them.
depth for that.
But,
Yeah,
guys, I mean,
one of them though.
Tawi Walker led the team in rushing yards. And honestly, I feel crazy saying this. I know Jeremy's already shaking his head, but I think he will have a role on this team. Whether it be just fourth and one situations and you're going, oh my gosh, whether it be, for the goal line on 1 inch, you put him in. We saw, I mean, it's hard to bring him down. I do think they'll use him in short yard situations.
Yeah, maybe.
The dude is what, like 5'8", 5'9", like 220.
Hey, who do you think is going to be the third running back then? Barnes, Sawchuk, and who?
Major.
I would think Major, but
If Major's healthy, he's got to be in.
And
Major
we're
Smothers.
team held back their most deadly offensive weapon 5'6". Chapman McCown was hurt.
Hey,
He
what
didn't
happened to
play.
the transfer 4-star last year?
Emeka Megwe?
Yeah.
He's hurt.
Is he hurt?
Yeah.
Hey,
So
hold on. Speaking of injuries or anything, why did Nick Anderson not play? Did we ever?
Hamstring.
hamstring.
Okay.
The problem is he's always hurt. It seems like
He has that. It's just that Anderson.
Anderson blood, dude.
It's a terrible, like it's a curse, really, because they're so highly talented. That entire family is, and the injuries are just they're more.
Rodney
often
would be
than
in the
not.
league right now if it wasn't for it.
Rodney Anderson is the best running back. That never.
He's
was.
the best one I've watched since AJ.
That never was like that. He had the potential to be even better than Adrian Peterson. He just got hurt.
Peterson at OU.
Yes.
Okay.
Joe Mixon was great too. But
Well, and we ran into Nick Anderson walking into the spring game. And that's another dude that he's standing next to him.
It chased him down for the picture too.
He chased down Arnold and Bowen, but I mean, you like look at Nick Anderson. That dude's really big for a wide receiver too. So
Draper didn't get his picture with Anderson.
Hey, I got a question for y'all to answer.
Y'all got your picture with Anderson while I was getting Peyton Bowen and Jackson.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's why he didn't
Yes,
get it.
I'm going to ask y'all a question. I want y'all to answer. Your biggest concern for the upcoming season for you, Jackson. I'm going to start with you. Biggest concern area.
Interior offensive line depth.
Okay.
Traver.
the trenches. Trade.
I feel like the offensive line.
Jeremy.
I want to say the offensive line is my biggest concern, but Bill Beatenbow usually, and it's hard to say because they're depleted, guys. Like,
Yeah.
if they had everyone there, I'm not sure we'd be saying this. My concern would be health then with the offensive line, but outside of that, my concern, and you guys are going to flame me for it, is if Dylan Gabriel can make the throws or not.
Hunter.
Yeah, I was going to kind of go along that of really just winning close games, but I'll go with something different. Special teams. Michael Coach. No, the punter and holder position, completely new faces this year. That's my true concern.
Well,
Josh Plaster didn't impress me that much.
Well, OU got very spoiled with Turk, period. The guy was automatic.
He was the best punter in the country.
Best quarterback on the team.
And the best quarterback on the team all in one year.
Even
Passer rating.
Hey, and Jackson, was Turk the best quarterback on the team last year?
Yes.
because
You better say yes because you said stats don't lie. You said stats don't lie.
Second best safety too. The second best.
Yeah.
Safety.
Hey, and Jay, I know you don't like what I said about Gable, you guys, but listen. Go to any team who's won a title. Third down conversions is about the number one factor on an offense. Third down conversions. And the teams that make the best third down, have the best percentage on third down conversions, usually have a quarterback that's just a game changer.
That's another thing that you bring up is last year we saw so many third and longs. Almost every third down attempt, it was 3rd and 8 to 3rd and 10, pretty much every single time. So you're not making it easier on yourself trying to convert.
Yeah, back to one thing I want to talk about, this Brendan Thompson commit today, okay? And I just want to bring it up. I know he didn't play a lot at Texas his first year as a freshman, but when you got a guy with that much speed in OU's offense, the way they go quick, you bring him in and you don't sub that next play, you got a big time mismatch. I mean, he's going to have to be double team deep, period. So then you're going to have the middle of the field open. I mean, there's so much you can do with the speedster. I mean, I've played not college ball, but I've played ball against fast kids, and you're basically you're I don't want to say you're scared, but you kind of are because you can't do anything about it. They're just faster than you, right?
Yeah, I only have one concern with Brendan Thompson, and that is he did not participate in spring ball this year at all. He runs track for Texas, so he was at track this spring. That's my only true concern with him. It's just Gavin Sawchuk, there was all that talk on how fast he was when he committed to OU. I think he was the fastest kid in the state of Colorado at the time. I'm pretty sure.
Gentry Williams, who was
exactly. Thune said he couldn't even keep up with them on the camera. So I wonder what Thune's going to be able to do with Brennan Thompson because he's even faster than Tyreek Hill.
GoPro like on the kid.
Yeah, he's
Hey.
Just hope that he's not used like OSU used Tyreek Hill because they didn't use him very well.
No, they didn't. Hey, Jay or Brody, someone here. Does anyone have the longest play from scrimmage by OU's offense on that game on running the ball?
Is that why you turned your camera off and went and looked at it?
No, I went and got some nachos. But hey,
It was probably Dylan Gabriel's like 30. Actually,
No, Jackson Arnold.
no.
Yeah,
He
so
said
buy a running back. Buy a running
Smothers
back.
had one at the end. It was either the Smothers run at the end
Yeah,
or
Smothers.
DG had a
I'm very disappointed in the stats put out by the university. I guess they were more preoccupied trying to figure out the scoring system. That was. I hope they never do that again. That was.
I did have an OSU fan text me. An OSU fan texted me after the game and said, "Typical OU defense, 84-82 in the spring
They
game."
were all over Twitter saying that too.
What did you
Unbelievable.
I would have responded and said, typical OSU not even having a spring game.
yeah.
No, typical OSU, only concerned about OU.
Well, and that's the thing when we talked about BV's quote at the beginning. There's OSU fans talking about what they're saying. I mean,
Yeah, that wasn't applied to them. That wasn't.
Alan
If
Coleman
it was
is
going to
their
be at any other school other than USC, maybe Texas. Maybe that's where the shade
Hey,
is from.
I say this often, and you guys know my phrasing. I use this phrase often, but you put a true serum in BV, guys. The way he said that at the beginning when he called out Link, first off, he didn't do it last year. He could have. He could have made comments last year. He didn't. Here's why. I think if you put a true serum, here's why he didn't do it last year. He knew he didn't have the dudes.
Oh, duh. Yeah. He
This
knew
year, this
Hold
year
on.
he knows he's got the dude. Hey,
Yeah.
he's looking at McCullough.
Yeah.
He's looking up at McCullough.
Well-
I mean, he knows he's got the dudes, guys.
Well, there was also a thing that I talked about too that I wonder if it was kind of maybe a thing why Brent Venables for him it was like $150,000 bonus maybe to get to 6.5 wins and they didn't get there. So it's kind of like Brent Venables knew.
Hey, wait, real quick. We need to get Sooner Surge merch that says if you put a truth serum and put a truth serum merch.
One thing though about that.
Let's put Venables' quote on there.
Hey, one thing about it though that bothers me, and I see this all the time. I hear it from people. And Hunter, I don't know if you said this. I don't think you have, but overall on a team, when people say stars don't matter, that's a bunch of bull crap. Okay.
Yeah.
Stars do matter. Yeah, you can get three. Listen, you can have 3 stars that turn out to be great, but you got to have some 5 stars if you're wanting to compete with Georgia.
Yeah, I've said it, but more in reference to like PWOs and stuff like that.
Yeah. And I agree with you on that. But you got to have some that are 5 stars.
Exactly.
And we're seeing it now. You have to.
Yeah. And it's looking like it's going to continue that way. You look, there's a real possibility that we're going to end up with a lot on just one side of the ball. If you want to
Let's talk about recruiting. Let's move on to
I mean,
recruiting.
let's
4
talk
or
about
5. Well, hold
Hey,
on.
Before you move on,
I'm going to say one more thing before we move on. Okay. Speaking of stars and stars matter, guys, I think it's amazing how I know we had this guy on the podcast, but Eddie Radosevich, man, he's the most famous person in Norman.
Yeah.
The dude was signing autographs. I heard he signed it to like a 10-year-old girl too because their parents told him to go and get a picture or something. That's just incredible.
oh, everyone behind where we were sitting, every time we walked back over there, they're all chanting Eddie.
Also, the
Unofficial
amount
40 hats on.
Also, the amount of unofficial 40 and
Well,
Sooner Scoop merchandise I saw was crazy.
Did you guys hear Kyler after the game? The
Yeah.
first thing he
Yeah.
said,
He said, "Where's Eddie?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
they were disappointed on their post game that they didn't bring a 3X shirt for Kyler.
Yeah, I heard
For
that.
Eddie to give Kyler. So.
hey, stars matter, stats matter. There's 2 S's. Let's go S to the 4th power today. Stars.
That'd be the 3rd one. That was
No, I'm
two.
doing
I was
2.
gonna say 2.
Stars, stats, and I'm going to give you 2 more. Size matters and speed matters. And you don't take that any way other thing when I say size matters, but the play that Gabriel overthrew Buckley Shelton, all right, That was because of McCullough's size, period.
Yeah.
Deshaun White, and I'm the biggest Deshaun White supporter. You guys know that. He didn't have it. You would easily throw it over. You couldn't do that with McCullough there, and it's not the only one. It's clear that is what Venables went after, was that he's got that.
Jeremy's that size.
He's got that size now. That's
size matters. Comment from Jeremy is about
has that size.
Here of when we're sitting watching warm-ups and Jeremy's talking about Jackson Arnold's spiral and says, he said that's about as tight as anything I've seen in a long time. But yeah, just talking about recruiting. I mean, certainly it was a big week for the Sooners. They picked up, a commitment from Jaden Hardy before, right before the game started. I think 2 hours before it started, and then got a couple more rolling in here pretty soon this week, more than likely, very soon. Emmett Jones already got started with him picking up a portal commitment, and he's going to have a great week this week. Masterclass of a week from Emmett Jones, and they'll probably get that started here probably tomorrow.
Hey,
before we want to go on the past 7 days for Emmett Jones, it's already been great. KJ Daniels and now Brennan Thompson. And
well, you just talk about the past 7 days for OU commits overall. It started off, let's see, last week on Monday. Was KJ Daniels last week on Monday?
Yeah, it was last week.
Javion McCollum and John Hughley, right, for basketball. And then you had Isaiah Autry, Rivaldo Soares. Brody, isn't that the correct pronunciation? And then you had Jaden Hardy. So you just talk about a great week overall for commits. And guys, Jaden Hardy is once again, he's going to be a great ball player. He's a little bit undersized, but he fits the mold.
I don't think he's undersized.
Well, he's 5'10", 5'11". So I wouldn't call him undersized, but he's not the big
You just did call him undersized.
What?
Phil doesn't lie.
You just called him undersized.
Yes, no, but I'm saying okay.
Stats don't lie.
He's undersized for defensive players, but he doesn't play.
I understand what you're saying.
He doesn't play undersized.
Hey, me and Jackson have had this conversation.
Jackson and I. Go ahead.
Okay. And I want to ask you three, because you haven't been on the video, and I've kind of bashed Jackson a little bit when I've asked him about, I'm going to give you some names. Okay. Nigel Smith, Williams Nwaneri, David Stone, Xadavian Sims, and Joseph Joinier. Okay. Those five. I've asked Jackson, how many do you think OU will get? Without him telling me his answer.
Oh, he definitely said 5.
How many are y'all thinking?
I'm going to go with 2.
That's what I said, 2.
I think Stone's going to be one of them.
I agree.
Yeah, we know you said 5, Jackson.
I'll say 4.
Oh, wow. Here you go.
3 to 4 is where I'd go to.
Yeah.
You're saying
I would go with
so 3, Traber. So most of y'all are saying, y'all realize if they get 3 of the 5, and I'm going to say if one of them's not Xadavian Sims, if they get 3 of the other 4, listen, this class will be a top 2 class.
Oh, I think it.
Right?
Honestly, I think.
I agree, Jay. Hey, 40%. If you go 2 out of 5, you're at what? 40% of those.
Yeah.
I'm not good at math, but hey, 40% is a heck of a lot better than 0%, which is what they've been getting on the 5-star interior lineman.
Well, we've seen 5 stars at Saturday when we saw Peyton Bowen and PJ Adebawore, whatever. But they need a Gerald McCoy. That's what they need. They got to get 1 or 2 of them. I mean, you're going to the SEC, guys.
I'm hoping Grayson Halton can become one of those, but he's not the size like those guys.
Well, 5-star defensive lineman in the middle.
Well, and
What star was Halton?
3 to 4.
3 to 4. Well, and
below 4.
Who is our top ranked defensive lineman right now?
Stone.
Currently on the roster.
Derek LeBlanc.
I think he's going to play this year.
No,
Maybe a little bit.
he might redshirt.
Hey, back to recruiting. Hunter, how would you rank those 5?
On what?
On your how would you rank them as best to 1 to 5?
You didn't ask me this question, Jay.
Sims is 5. We know that.
Yeah. Sims is actually 1,000, but That's I don't need to waste my time talking.
Who's your
about
top two out of that?
I guess I'm going to go 1A, 1B of David Stone and Williams Nwaneri. But I can't rank those separately. They're both. You look, every site has them pretty much in the top 10 or just outside of it. One will have them as their number one. The other one will have them for defensive linemen, so they're interchangeable. Then I'm going to go Nigel Smith at 3. And how do you say it, Brody?
Jonah Ajonye
at 4.
What about you, Jackson?
I'm gonna join you. I'm gonna join you and probably do the same thing. 1A, 1B with those.
I do the same thing.
Me, see, one, I think it's Stone. I just think Stone, he has the chance, if he develops right, to be a generational defensive tackle prospect. There's not really, I mean, who's the guy that's coming on the interior of the defensive line? Keep doing it, Brody. That's been as highly rated as him. I mean, you talk about Jalen Carter in this year's NFL draft. Well, okay, there was David Hicks, but you go back down the past couple of years, there's no one that's been as good as them two on the interior defensive line.
Yeah.
Every national championship team has to have that guy. They have to. That you cannot win a national championship without that hoss in the middle. Can you guys remember a team that won one without it? I would say maybe LSU, but I think they had some pretty good interior talent.
Yeah, they did.
That's the only one that I can't remember.
I'm thinking maybe the year was Oregon-Auburn, but Auburn had some dudes.
Exactly.
And then I'm going to go with Williams Nwaneri 2. I would actually go Joseph Jonah. I've heard Ajonye, I've heard Ajonye, however you want to say it. At 3, I would have Nigel Smith at 4 and Sims at 5.
Yeah, talking about, we mentioned Emmett Jones masterclass coming this week. I would expect him to get another one here in the next couple hours, next 24 to 48 hours. And Hunter, just kind of stuff, you watched Kearney's film. What did you think about his game, and what do you think the Sooners will be getting in Zion Kearney?
His biggest thing that impressed me is his frame. He's 6'3", 195 in high school, a junior in high school. That's a good frame for a junior. He's playing 6A ball in Texas, and really his ability to turn on the burners. I've watched a few tunnel screens where he's running in, catches it, he cuts, he goes from the inside hash to the sideline, and he's gone. It was a 78-yard touchdown. One of them. Watching him return the ball, he's one. Again, I cannot stand starters returning kicks. It's just injuries waiting to happen. That's why in the next 10 years, kickoffs will be outlawed in football, in college and professional ball. But he's able to hesitate. He's able to let the holes open and then find his way through them. He's quick. He's able to cut. And really, like watching him run post routes even. He's able to split both safeties. Every time I watched him run a post, he had the safeties burnt. Now, a couple times I think he might have got caught. But again, he's able to find the open field. So I'm really excited on him. And then Bryant Wesco, he's the number one. Is he number one for 247's top 247 on wide receivers?
Where is he ranked?
Ninth overall, third. So 9th overall.
I'll tell you the player comparison for that kid.
What?
It's CeeDee Lamb. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be in CeeDee Lamb, but when you watch him, I see a lot of CeeDee Lamb.
Well, that physical?
Yeah, he's that physical. And whenever he's so good across the middle of the field that it's just like whenever he knows he gets the ball, he knows where he's going to go and he's going to find a way to get out of it, just like CeeDee Lamb did so many times.
And back with Kearney, Jay, what's the most important thing for a receiver to do when they're not getting the ball?
Block.
Yep.
Yeah, and that dude can block. His huddle highlights, he had quite a few pancakes. And even just like on a jump ball in the red zone, he's not trying to make a move around the receiver. He's going to attack you. And that 3 yards you're allowed to make contact, he's running right at you and going to body you and then going to make a catch on you. I'm really excited on Kearney.
Yeah, and with Kearney getting that, I think in the next 48 hours, Emmett Jones will be wrapped up with his wide receiver recruiting for the 2024 cycle, and then he'll probably get another one for the 2025 on May 1st. More than likely, that he will pick up that one on May 1st. So Emmett Jones has definitely done an outstanding job recruiting so far.
I don't want to get off the recruiting because you guys are talking about and doing some good stuff, but it just makes me think with what you talked about with Wesco with the CD Lamb comparison. No one on the team we have this. Nick Anderson is that guy to me. He's the physical guy. If you're a defense in the SEC, you got good corners. You could bump these guys at OU. I mean, you could put bump and run on these guys. And I'm outside maybe Farouk, but he doesn't even show that he's that physical. I mean, Nick Anderson to me would be the guy, but I'm just thinking to defend this group of receivers, we don't have maybe that physical guy like we had in Lamb, where if you got bumped up the line, Lamb would just he would put a move and put some physicalness on you. I don't know who that guy is this year outside of Nick Anderson. Sounds like Wesco could be something like that.
And that's what Emmett Jones is using his offers carefully. He's gonna get Wesco and Kearney here, and he's doing that for a reason. Then he has KJ Daniels, a lower guy, but just as fast gets. And because he knows that the SEC, you're not going to be able to win unless you have those receivers that are going to be able to handle the corners that are going to push you to your limits every single play. And you need multiple of them. You can't only have one receiver like that, because then we see it constantly. Last year was the perfect example on the defensive side of the ball. They can't be in there every single snap. They can't. But if you want to leave people in there every single snap, their level of play is going to go down significantly. You can't do it, especially in the SEC.
Yeah, and recruiting wise, Xavier Robinson announced his commitment date on the 10th of May. That's going to be DeMarco Murray's first get in the 2024 class, so he'll be getting involved with that one. I think his top three is Iowa State, Oklahoma State, and OU, but been told Oklahoma is in a really good spot for Xavier Robinson. So it should be a big recruiting week. You're going to see likely Kearney here the next couple days, and then you'll see Grayson Harris first, and then Robinson on the 10th.
Yeah, and also give you another name to watch out for in 2025, wide receiver Andrew Marsh. He's a 5-star in the 24/7 composite rankings, number 65 overall, actually on 24/7, out of Katy Jordan, I think is the name of the high school, not Katy, Texas. I think it's called Katy Jordan. I could be wrong on that though, but that's another kid that, with Kevin Sperry already being in the boat, 2025 has a chance to fill up in some spots.
Hey, real quick,
by the end of the summer, I mean, you could see both Grayson Harris and Andrew Marsh committed. So that's the name I wrote.
Jackson, I think you talked to – who's the guy you mentioned running? Because we don't – Durham, I know everyone saw the Fong to LSU today. I'm not really believing it.
Durham to LSU, you do not need to.
I'm not. But what I'm asking is, who is the guy that just dropped his top 5 running back?
Taylor Tatum. That's a name that OU's quietly been involved for a while. We've heard that. I believe Texas is the leader there right now. But I would just watch for OU because – really things have been quiet on the side of Tavani.
But if they get Durham, that's the guy they want.
Yeah.
They're
going to take 2 backs plus a Xavier Robinson, who will be a H-back.
Yeah, and Xavier Robinson, people will look at him like, why are they going to – you're back to the limited scholarships. You only get 25 recruits in this class. Why are you going to take a 3-star from Carl Albert? Because Carl Albert, they've won 17 state championships in 5A. They've had some of the best running backs in the state of Oklahoma history come out of Carl Albert, and that dude broke the single-season rushing record last year. He's an absolute unit. He's a guy that you get him in a college strength program, he's going to be special.
Yeah, so definitely a big next couple weeks coming for Oklahoma recruiting. Again, if you go to searchsportsnetwork.com, we'll be one of the first people to get the audio or the articles out once we get commits and once they commit to Oklahoma. And then we just got all kinds of spring game content on there right now. But yeah, just been a solid week recruiting. Mentioned they've picked up some commits recently, and they're going to have some here in the next couple hours.
Hey, and you just talk about it's just like you guys said, if OU's able to get 2 or 3 of these presumptively 5-star, these 5 defensive linemen that they're in the lead for, if they can even land 3, talking about our top 3 class in the country. And it's crazy to think that even coming off of a 6-7 season, they were able to be number 4 last year and have a chance to be in the top 3 this year. And I expect a 10-2 season this year. So you talk about 2025 in the SEC. Could OU push for number 1 in 2025?
Yeah, I think they can. So, I mean, for sure.
Well, guys, I think that's all we have for tonight. If you haven't,
Wait. What we got to talk about a little bit of baseball.
Yeah.
OU swept Texas. I mean, we cannot skip over that. I mean, they swept Texas. That's never happened. Am I right?
Yeah, the first sweep in program history in Austin. Last time they swept Texas was 1998.
Hunter, has anyone ever swept Texas?
What?
Has anybody ever swept Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah, they've been swept.
Oh,
Yeah, OU has it since 98.
Did you see the Texas coach rant? What year was that from?
I don't know. It was within the last 10 years, I think.
Hey, I don't follow baseball like Hunter does and Brody does, but I know you guys follow it pretty well. I've been watching more softball, but I will say this: it does feel like deja vu. Like this is almost to the T what happened last year.
No, you got to. If they do that,
I'm talking timing of it, Jay.
if they do it next weekend, I'm agreeing with you, but I can't go one series.
Yeah, and then in large part they did this. We talked about in the last pod the bullpen. The bullpen was struggling, but they had the Big 12 pitcher of the week.
Carter Campbell winning the first one of the year for a Sooner as pitcher of the week, 8 2/3 innings. He was 6 innings of scoreless baseball against Texas. Closed out both game 1 and game 2, both tight games. You have to have a good outings from your bullpen. Campbell took care of business both days. Really, I said last week that this team's looking like they're going to have to win the Big 12 to have a chance of making the tournament. And now you look at the RPI, they're ranked 49th. You got to be in that top 64, really. Want to be in that top 50, and they're there. So if they can finish
and they're playing well. One of their better players is about to come back to the team here pretty soon.
Easton Carmichael should be back this week. I'll be a little concerned. That means he would have a setback if he is not. Tomorrow scheduled to play ORU. Don't think that one will happen. Rain's expected across the state. So if we do play it, it's one you really need to win at this point, because now we're back into a position where the midweek truly matters again. You can't be dropping those games. And just this weekend, we went into the series against Texas after getting killed by Oklahoma State. That was just embarrassing, really. You jump out to an early 3-0 lead, and then you're killed. And you go into Austin and sweep them. So now you got another series with Kansas this weekend. You have to win that. You have to sweep them. You can't just win that series. You have to sweep Kansas.
Well, you have to. Here's my thing. Go for the rest of the year. You can't get swept, and you have to win the series. If you win the rest of your series, you're locked.
Yeah, and Will Karsten also pitched.
Yeah, Will Karsten was.
Looking at Jeremy, you say no.
Will Karsten came out of the. Yeah, Jeremy, that's no doubt.
If they win the rest of their series, they're a lock.
I'm not just by winning the series.
Yes,
they would be a lock.
Trust me. Even if they win no games in the Big 12 tournament.
Yeah, they'd be a lock. Their RPI would be high enough if they win the rest of their series.
They would probably still have to win 2.
Yeah,
in the tournament. That's just how it goes. I saw some pretty good teams not get an opportunity in the tournament. But again, I don't remember what teams that lost like their first game in the Big 12 tournament, like K-State, who I think won, what their RPI was last year. I don't remember. So I think it was more of their RPI wasn't there. Even though they were a solid team, it just wasn't there. And really, D1 baseball is starting to like OU again, and they've liked them all year. That hasn't been a thing that they've denied. Aaron Fitz said it. It's just the inconsistency. You can't go from sweeping Texas to losing the series to Kansas. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but things like that have happened this year. We lost to Cal Baptist to open the season. You lost the game to Rover. You lost games that you shouldn't have lost. You've lost midweeks more times than not, it seems like. I don't know if that's not. It's just you got to be able to win those games that you should win. And again, last year they were looking like this team is going to have to win the tournament to make the tournament. And then they just heated up. And I said it last week, that was going to be the case to win the Big 12 to have a chance or to go to the NCAA tournament. And now you sweep Texas. So, and Texas is a great team. They're the 14th ranked team in the country. At one point, after a 4-7 start, they pulled off 16 in a row. So that it's not like you're playing a bad team. You're playing a really good team on the road.
Well, and I'm sorry, he just ripped one right next to me. But another thing to note is that Oklahoma has they've really figured out who their top 3 pitchers are these past 2 weeks. They're weekend guys, and that's been big. And then Carter Campbell did really well out of the pen this week, and then you get who was it? Will Karsten, who gave him.
That's what I really like. Is I was a little concerned on Will Karsten because he's been one that he'll be great at times and other times not great. So I'm just gonna ignore you guys right now.
Ignore me.
And in game 2 of the doubleheader, he's 7 strikeouts. I mean, he held on to a 1-run game. So you really like to see that because you're, again, at this point, because come the tournament, all you have to have is 3 guys. OU went a long way with 3 starters, and now they already have their 3 picked out, and you're seeing Karsten kind of shift into that bullpen role, at least for the weekend. He might be a guy that could start a midweek. And then Cale Davis is in the bullpen, but again, when are we going to see him again? We didn't see him all weekend, and I couldn't believe that. I thought he was going to get the nod in game 3 for the sweep, and Skip picked Will Karsten.
Yeah, and talking about softball too, they swept in Waco.
I mean, it's just like what is the shirts that Sooner Scoop sells? Run Real Sleep.
Muted.
Check out the pod, softball pod. Got all the breakdown of it.
What's that?
I said, yeah, you have to check out the softball pod. We got the breakdown of the 3 games.
Hey, all I got to say about softball is the pitching is unreal. I mean, it is ridiculous.
What else is unreal is the Louis double down burger. I'm just going to say, Louis is legit.
Oh, my gosh.
I promise you.
Brody, how was the burger?
The burger was pretty good.
It
was smashed down into a single down, dude.
Yeah, I was a little surprised that the cow didn't come alive because it sure got CPR at that point.
Hey, we got to talk about softball. The catcher for Baylor. What's going on?
Impersonate it.
All right, this is it right here. Every time she'd catch it, she'd stand up. Second one, she would push it like a shot put.
She was actually Jay.
Hey Jay, she was a national champion shot put thrower.
I was gonna say that she was actually a 3-star recruit.
I'm joking.
What was wrong? Is something wrong with her arm?
I don't know any of that. I'm just.
Is something wrong with her arm?
She was a 3-star shot put recruit.
Was she really?
No, I'm just kidding. I don't know, but it was all over Twitter talking about her.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What else, guys? Anything else? It was good to be at the spring game with y'all and have our first Sooner Surge.
Yeah, right place, right time.
Braden joined us. Braden, our softball guy, was there with us. It was a good time.
Dude, the softball pod is a legit one at the beginning. That's good. Y'all are gonna have to watch it.
They can find that on the YouTube only, YouTube exclusive. Make sure you subscribe so you know when that's out. But yeah, it was good to get all together with Sooner Surge, and like Hunters was getting ready to say, we got there at the right time.
Yeah, we walk in, we see Nick Anderson, Brody points out, Peyton Bowen and Jackson Arnold. Traver takes off to get the picture. He was the only one of the group to get a picture there. And then
I got a selfie with Peyton Bowen, not with Arnold though.
And then, I mean, we got a picture with Schmitty. I would have never thought I was going to get a picture.
Dude, I know.
Sure, just Schmitty Bill.
We talked to Need 2 for a second.
Yeah.
Hey, Schmitty could have crushed any one of you guys.
Yeah,
with
he
this.
could have. He had
Yeah.
his arm around me and his other arm around Jackson. He could have.
Jeremy wasn't in the picture. He was hiding.
Bro,
Jay,
Who?
where were you?
Hey,
Jay, I want to know why you have a mutual friend and you don't even bring that up to him.
I
Like,
wouldn't say they're
hey.
mutual friends. I wouldn't say they're like friends.
I mean, I would consider somebody who gets you whatever sweet you want to be a friend, but that's all I'm going to say on that.
Yeah.
well,
Is he
also,
your friend, Jay? Is he not your friend?
yeah,
Is
I
that-
should have.
No, he's Jay's friend. He doesn't know how close he is with Schmitty.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm talking about.
Jay's it's one of Jay's good friends, but he doesn't know
Yeah,
how
he's
close
a good
that guy
friend.
is with Schmitty.
Jay and Schmitty are like that now.
We won't mention 40-yard dash. We'll move on. But
It wasn't a 40. It was a 25 yard.
25-yard dash happened. Jay got the best of
25-yard
it.
dash. We can't even say you won.
Change the name to Broden. 40-yard dash.
You didn't
Jason
even
got. Hey, I'll admit it. Jay got the best of me in the 25-yard dash. But if it would have been 26 yards, I had him beat. So we know I had him beat at
slowed
40.
down. I was in jeans, bro. All right. Anything else, guys? Close this up.
That's it. Thanks
All
for
right, make
joining
sure
us.
to subscribe, please. Please leave us a review, subscribe, and leave us a comment. As always, Boomer.
Boomer.
Boomer.